Okay, so for whatever reason, my iPhone decided it wanted to stop recording, so we lost the whole last half of what
Right, so we're redoing it.
It got tired of listening to us. Hopefully you guys haven't tired yet, but
so we'll try to be faster this time.
We're going to try to be a little bit faster this time. So that kind of gets us up to this past week. The past week when everything got out of committee and we started taking up all the general bills on calendar and passed a bunch, but we wanted to hit just a couple that you might find significant.
Alcohol bill.
Alcohol, exactly. Alcohol is a big issue in our state because the state kind of is in the business of alcohol, believe it or not. That's a whole nother episode.
And we've got a few dry counties that still exist out there, Dan. And tell them about that bill that just passed.
Well, some of you guys may wonder that do drink wine, and regardless of which side of the issue you fall on this, we want you to be informed, so that's why we're talking about this. Some of you guys that do drink wine have probably tried to do the wine of the month thing, and you find that you can't do it. You can't. Mississippi's always excluded because everything has to flow through Mississippi. Well, in addition to that, there's a lot of dry counties, and I did not know this until last week when the bill came up. Was that you could get arrested for driving through a dry county if you had alcohol in your car.
You cannot transport it.
I remember growing up in Arkansas, and it was just like last chance alcohol, and because you're going into a dry county, you could buy it and transport it, but you just couldn't buy it in that county. Well, here there are some counties in Mississippi where you'd actually get arrested for transporting it.
Well, this like when I was growing up, going to my grandparents' house from Marshall County to Tippah County. Once you got into Tippah County, sorry, it's dry.
Right. So House Bill 192.
Not that I drink. So.
House Bill 192 deals with that. It says basically that if you are transporting alcohol, closed, mind you, it's illegal to transport it anywhere in the country that I know of open in your car. But if you are transporting on a state or federal highway, that you can legally do that now. So, so that kind of fixes
if the bill gets passed in the Senate and signed by the governor.
The next one was House Bill 709. We thought this one might be of interest to our viewers, and that is one that came through the Public Health that has to do, it's called the Prescription Drugs Consumer Affordable Alternative Payment Options Act.
This is a kind
of a long name, I know, but this is what it does.
Bill. Transparency at its best, Dan.
Right. You may not be aware of this, but pharmacists have a gag, basically a gag order by a lot of the agreements and contracts that they have, that if you go in for a drug that you're prescribed, and let's say your copay is $100 on that, if there is another alternative that maybe a generic that does the exact same thing for $20 outright, they can't tell you that.
Right.
This basically frees them up to...
This bill will free them up to be able to talk to you about the alternate medications so that hopefully you can save some money if it's the exact same, it does the exact same thing.
Exactly. So if this makes it to the governor's desk and makes it out of the Senate to the governor's desk, you should be able to go in, those of you that have prescriptions that you have to fill regularly, you can feel free to ask your pharmacist, is there a cheaper alternative? Because I know some of these meds are crazy expensive. And they won't be gagged. They can actually tell you now.
Yeah, so we're excited about that bill.
Good bill. And then the last one that I think we're really excited about is House Bill 1510.
Correct.
If you've been watching the news over this past weekend, you probably saw that we passed a 15-week abortion ban in Mississippi, which is the... across the rest of the nation, it's the lowest in the nation. Across the nation, it's 20 weeks. Well, 15 weeks is the week after your first trimester, and you usually know you're pregnant by then.
Yeah, women know, and like Dan said, that'll be the lowest in the nation. But we're doing everything we can to fight for life in Mississippi, and this bill's a step in the right direction, and we're excited about it. That puts us lowest in the nation. Everything that we can do to save life.
Absolutely. And in Mississippi, if you're not aware of the abortion landscape, there's one abortion clinic left. It's just a few miles from the Capitol. They kill several thousand babies a year there.
And
this will save what, 200 lives. And I know that when we debated this at length last Friday before we went home on the floor, there were some arguments by the people on the other side of the fence of this issue. And Steve and I make no bones about the fact that we are pro-life. But they said that, nobody has the right to tell a woman what she can do with her body. But the sad thing is that we're in the business down here of telling people what they can do with their body.
Right.
Prostitution, it's illegal. That's somebody telling you what you can do with your body. Drinking and driving, that's illegal too. Or telling people what they can do with their body. There are a lot of laws that limit what you can do with your body, but this one specifically deals with life.
Right.
And one of the other arguments that they made was that basically if you're not wanted, that you don't deserve to live.
Which it's really a sad argument because babies are wanted. And what we do need to work on is the adoption laws, Dan, to try to help people who do want to adopt, who maybe can't afford it.
I know scores of people, my wife and I included, that would adopt if it wasn't $25,000 or more to go through all the legal processes.
Right.
So the babies that, I know one of the arguments that was made on the floor, and the inference, which just broke my heart, was that the reason we have so many kids in foster care was because we didn't allow their mothers who didn't want them to kill them before they were born. And that just breaks my heart, because you look at one of these kids and tell them they're not wanted. They are wanted.
It's really sad.
And there's plenty of people out there that do want them and that would want them if our adoption laws were cleaned up. Yeah.
And more affordable for some of these families. Dan, we live in the state that has the lowest median household income in the country. We've got to work with a lot of these families on trying to make it affordable so they can adopt some of these babies. And there are plenty of families out there, godly families, who would love to have these babies.
Absolutely. But that's pretty much wraps it up. That's the biggie. That one, if you haven't watched the news or seen it on the news, you probably will, especially if it makes it through the Senate. Then it becomes much more of a reality. But other than that, here we're going to be doing bills all week long in the House.
Very busy.
So we'll have a lot to talk about at the end of the week. But you know what else is going on here?
Dixie Nationals.
Dixie Nationals. I don't know if you could hear the cows. Probably not.
We've got them all around us.
But we got cowboys and cows and cowgirls. And
y'all need to come down and see the rodeo, see the Dixie National, come to some of the concerts. It's a blast. We've met a lot of really nice people.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, right behind our trailers, I'm right next door to Steve down here. We've got all these little makeshift pens. There are cows everywhere. That's what we're waking up to.
Yeah, moo.
And I love it. So all next week, in fact, every night there's a rodeo and a concert. And so they bring in a bunch of good entertainment. It's worth coming down and checking out if you've never been.
That's right.
And go around and look at all the...
So we appreciate you guys watching us this week. We're sorry it kind of took a little while. But we're going to work hard to try to keep you guys updated, and we just pray you guys have a blessed week.
Absolutely. So God bless you, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Goodbye.